Dare you to tell Harriet what you told me last night over there?
I think that comes in time and...
No, go on, you can't change. Tell me, what did you say?
Like the way we're moving, I'm liking it. I told Kaz I loved you.
Oh, okay.
I get where Scott is coming from and I get where Luca's coming from. And for those that didn't watch Luca's season, ladies and gentlemen, the real Luca has entered the chat. Because I remember on his season with Dami, people were really upset with him for, bullying one of the other islanders. And sadly for him, his little boy ego was bruised by the fact that Grace was kissed by too many guys. And this is why he outed the secret. And also with Scott, if it was a secret, why did he tell the boys? Why didn't he go and tell Tina soon after he told the boys to neutralize this thing? Because now it's humiliating for Tina. Make that make sense? I don't get it. And Ronnie is going hard for Harriet. He's going hard. He's doing the Olivia Pope. If you want me, earn me. And he's doing his best to earn Harriet. And the walls are coming down and we're all watching. And it's about to be interesting. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. And definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars Season 2, Episode 12. Oh my God, these people are messy. So you have Kaz and Catherine go for a chat. And Kaz is sort of saying to Catherine, I know that Montal has chosen me, but I also know you like him. So please know that I am okay with you sort of pulling him for chats, having conversations with him. I'm not going to be territorial, which was very sweet, really. It was very sweet because it wasn't a place to say that, but it was important that they sort of understood each other, which I love. I love the fact that she's still open. I think having experienced what she experienced with Ronnie and Elma, she just didn't want somebody else to feel that way. Obviously, Catherine is saying she's good, she's happy, with the decision that he's made, but we all saw her cry in the previous episode last week. So that might be a little bit of a, pokies, but hey, it is what it is. The islanders get ready for the night, and this conversation about Ronnie having downplayed his feelings for Elma, and it's like, Catherine, my love, Catherine, you and Kaz need to stay out of these people's business. You need to mind your own and stay out of their business because you're about to get dragged by the viewers. Because Catherine was saying, yeah, he downplayed, and it's like, no, please just shh. I love you, but shh, stay out of these people's business because it will turn on you and you'll be public enemy number one. Anyway, the islanders get ready for the night. They pick up their drinks, and then you have the guys by the fire pit. You have Luca, Ron, and Ronnie, and they're having a conversation, and you have Elma and Harriet sort of sitting on the sun deck having a conversation as well. And Ron is sort of saying he feels like, Harriet is trying to sort of wind him up by deciding to couple up with Ron because, she's trying to prove a point. And partly, yes, she has to prove a point because last season, all she did was focus on Ronnie and he was busy here, there and everywhere. And she ended up being labeled as a second pick, as a pick-me. So she's right to sort of make him work for her and make him earn her. Harriet is sort of apologizing to, Elma, I'm so sorry, about how things are going, I would feel the same way you feel if, with the person I'm interested's ex walked in. And it's like, Harriet, this is not your fault. This is on production. Production need to sort this out. And I'm happy that Elma said, no, it's not your fault. It's just that he downplayed. You lost him. Elma lost him. I don't know why people don't get this. Yes, as much as she might be partly a victim, but she lost him the moment she became territorial. The moment she kicked off and he went and slept outside, that's when she lost him. He was managing her until somebody else walked in, but that's when she lost him. And the person he really cares about walked in and his head fully turned. Because in all his drama last season, I don't remember him going to sleep outside. So she lost him at that. So she can't blame him. She can't blame Harriet. Her actions led to him behaving the way he behaved, in my opinion. You have Ronnie sort of trying to suss out whether Ron is interested in Harriet. Ron says, nah, he's really not that into Harriet, but he's willing to give it a go and see how things go between the two of them. And it's like, this is music to Ronnie's ears because this is what he wanted to hear. He wanted to hear that you're not keen on her and that she's still available for him. And so he's going to push it for as long as he can. You have Grace go for a chat with Luca. They really seem to be getting on very well. I'm pleasantly surprised. So Grace goes for a chat with Luca, and then Luca reveals that, Ron is telling them that, he's really not feeling Harriet that way. And because Grace and Harriet are best of friends, Grace was like, I'm not going to let Harriet look like a fool by pursuing a connection with someone who's not keen on her. Harriet is having a conversation with Ron. She's just trying to get to know him, but we all know he's just humoring her. He wanted, well, according to him, he wanted a Kaz, but Kaz didn't feel him. And it's like, oh my God, this villa, everybody's feeling someone who's not feeling them. Make that make sense? Kaz is having a conversation with, Montel, and she's sort of saying she's happy he's there, and she's made an effort to look very good for him, and he is ecstatic, but he thinks, she's just telling him what she feels he needs to hear, because this is what she said to everybody else. And Kaz is sort of saying, no, I really am serious about you. And it's like, well, if you're serious about him, then I'm happy for you. If he is serious about you, I'm happy for you as well, because I don't think he really was feeling Catherine like that. I've already said it, that if he really was into Catherine, he would have exploded in the real world, but he didn't, which means he really wasn't feeling her like that. So there was no point in him pretending to like her once he got into the villa. You have Harriet pull Ronnie for a chat, and Elma is downstairs listening, and it's like, girl, you broke up with him, so what business of yours is it what he gets up to? Make that make sense? Because she had earlier Kaz had come up to her and sort of hinted that Ronnie might be about to break up with her, and so Kaz was trying to give her the heads up to say, you do it first. And I'm like, Kaz, why are you looking out for this woman? This woman treated you like garbage and made it seem like you were throwing yourself at Ronnie, so why are you looking out for her? This is what I don't get. I really don't get. Anyway, so once she sat down with Ronnie, she said to Ronnie, you don't need to speak. I just want you to know we're done. And it's like, you were done the moment he slept on the daybeds the first time. So that's it. So to find her sitting there and listening into the conversation doesn't make sense. She's verbally said what she feels people expected to say, but she still got feelings for Ronnie. And it's like, how do you have feelings for someone who doesn't have feelings for you? You weren't that serious. It wasn't that deep. Unless the edit didn't show us something, there's no need for you to be listening into this conversation unless you just want to cause yourself more pain and play the victim. Anyway, Harriet is enjoying sort of hearing Ronnie sort of declare his love for her, because they're having a conversation, and Ronnie saying, he understands that she made a choice which was in her best interest, but he wants her to know that he still really likes her. She's all it for him. He wants to make amends. He wants to correct everything, that he did wrong. And it's like, Harriet loves this. She's gobbling this up with a massive soup spoon, because she kept asking him, so what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And it's like, well, he wants you, love. Who else do you think he wants? He's just broken up with his partner. So he wants you. And it's like the commentary downstairs doesn't make sense. People listening in doesn't make sense, because this is none of your business. So why are you listening into a conversation that has actually nothing to do with you? Whether or not he declares his love for Harriet, whether or not he doesn't, that's not your business. You are here to find love for yourself. So focus on you and your relationship. You have Catherine sit down for a chat with Montel, and Catherine is saying, she was upset when he chose Kaz, because the way he described the person, it seemed as though he was describing her. And Montel sort of says, the thing is, with you, I've known you for a while. And that's the truth. He's known her since season 10. They've spent some time together in London with the other islanders. I've said this before. So if there was ever going to be anything there, he would have explored it in the real world. The fact that the two of them didn't make an effort of it in the real world, why should they suddenly feel the need to do so now? And I give him credit for telling her that the reason why I've decided to explore with Kaz is because I've never explored anything with her. I don't know her. It's a clean slate. So if it works out, amazing. If it doesn't work out, amazing, but at least I'll have given that a full opportunity. I'm still open to getting to know you and talk to you. And it's like, the two of you already know one another. What else do you want to know about each other in order for you to make a decision? You know each other. You've realized that there's nothing there, so it's okay. You can keep it stepping. You have Scott and India sort of sit down for a conversation, and Scott is saying, oh, you've brought out the sensitive part of me, I am more affectionate with you, and blah, blah. And it's like, that's because India was your sister. You're giving each other brother and sister vibes, but you're willing to pretend to be in a couple until somebody else that you felt came in. So it's nothing new. So it is what it is. We're not shocked. Do I think Scott will move on to the next person? Yes, I do. because he doesn't really seem to be all in. He seems to be attracted to her, but I don't think he's attracted to her enough to stay in a couple unless there's something we're not seeing. You have Harriet sort of sitting by the day beds with Grace and Elma and Montel and Luca, and everyone is behaving so strange, and Grace is trying to tell her something. So she's sort of being asked, how's your connection going? And she says, it's okay. I'm open to getting to know him. I'm not here for Ronnie. I'm here to experience Love Island for myself. So then she notices that something is not right. So she storms off in typical Harriet fashion, and then she calls for Grace. Grace goes to her, and they have a conversation, and Grace reveals that apparently Ron is not feeling her. There's no spark for him, so he's just in a couple with her just to sort of humor her and see how it goes. I think it's not that he's not attracted to her. I think he's realized that if he's going to be part of that, he is going to be part of the love triangle, because she is always going to go back to Ronnie. It's only a matter of time before she goes back to Ronnie. So if he's going to try anything, it's just temporary. So I think this is why he's decided to make it known. And besides, I think he actually liked Elma when he came in, and sadly Elma over-exaggerated the situation. I don't know whether she's given him the ick or whether he's going to try and manage it so he can stay in the villa. You have Ronnie having a conversation with Kaz and Montel, and they seem very cuddly and very affectionate. And so he's sort of saying to them, he understands that last time Harriet was all focused on him and all in on him. And so this time she might want to do something different. And all he can do is sort of express himself to her and then leave it to her to make a decision. He's asked, are you in love with her? He says, yes, he is in love with her. He has fallen in love with Harriet. Surprised? No. I just want to see Jess's face. As he's saying this. And so, he said even if he goes home, he's okay, because he will have said everything he needed to say. Because it seems in the real world, he was trying to speak to her and she wouldn't give him the time of day. So this is his opportunity to sort of make amends and sort of get her on board with whatever nonsense he's getting up to. I think he's really into Harriet. I said the moment Ronnie changes for someone, he's changed completely. He's not going back to Turbo. So I can't wait to see what happens and when Harriet will finally forgive him. The islanders then go and get ready for the night. Obviously, there's still this tension. Ronnie's sleeping outside because, Elma said, you better enjoy sleeping on the daybed. And it's like, well, he's going to enjoy it. He is going to enjoy it because he himself took himself out there in the first place. It's not like you sent him out. The very first time that Harriet came in, he took himself out there. And this shows that he's serious about Harriet. So it is what it is. Everybody else gets ready for the night. Harriet is still feeling some type of way because of the comment about Ron not feeling her romantically. Ronnie sleeps outside. Harriet and Ron sleep downstairs. So it's obvious there's going to be a dumping. I have a feeling there's going to be a dumping after this episode because there's too many couples and not enough beds in the main bedroom. In the morning, everyone is chatting. How was your sleep? And I thought it was a bit sort of thoughtless, for lack of a better word, sort of uncaring for people to ask Kaz and Montel that, was there any cuddling? And it's like, Catherine, really liked this guy. Catherine cried because this guy didn't pick her. And so the audacity for you to ask them, were there any cuddles? What do you expect Catherine to say? How do you expect her to feel? Let it marinate for a bit. This is why I say Catherine and Kaz need to stay out of these people's business, because these people don't care about them. Let's be for real. You have Ron and Harriet come up, and then Ronnie comes up, and Harriet jumps into bed with Elma. And I'm like, Harriet is really trying to be friends with these girls. She feels really bad for them, but still at the same time, it's not her fault. It's not her fault that the guy didn't like this girl. We all... people are trying to blame Ronnie. No, you didn't play her. She gave him the ick and he moved on, and that's bound to be expected anyway. What did she expect him to do? I don't get it. You have the guys, so you have Luca, Ron, and Scott sit down for a conversation. I think it's the morning debrief. They've stopped the debriefs, but they will sort of pick up sort of little snippets of interesting stuff and sort of throw it in, but it's not considered a proper debrief as they used to have every morning, which I really hated. So Scott says that, he really thinks Tina is an amazing girl. She's someone who's very good for him, but somehow he's missing something. And it's like, what are you missing? What exactly are you missing? I don't get the urge to run over and kiss her, or when I see her, I don't get, that thing. And it's like, he's seen somebody else. That's it. There's nothing wrong with this girl. He's seen somebody else that he likes, or he's felt the tingles for somebody. That's why he's saying that. And so for him to sort of agree with the guys that let's not tell our girls doesn't make sense. You're on TV, you're being recorded. What do you expect to happen? The producers are going to push for it to come out. And when it comes out, it's going to be messy. If I were you, I would have pulled her for a chat, had a conversation with her, told her how things are. That way she understands exactly where she is and how things are going. You have Kaz and Harriet have a conversation, and Kaz is telling Harriet that, yesterday Ronnie came to Montel and we had a conversation with him, and, he really likes you. And so I came straight out and asked him, do you love her? And he said, yes, he does. So he's really into you, and it's something that I felt you needed to know. Harriet is excited. She's excited that Ronnie is declaring his love for her and his feelings, because apparently he normally doesn't discuss his feelings. So the idea that, he's telling everybody how he feels, how he knows he's screwed up, and how he's trying to sort of make amends and make sure, things go okay with Harriet. It's like Harriet knows she's in control, and she's milking it for all it's worth, and she's going to do everything to make sure that she leaves. Oh, people get the impression that she is the one who has the power in this relationship. And I'm like, if you love it, I love it for you. But hey, Kaz, please stay out of this mess. But anyway, Ronnie has been nice to her, so I give him that. Because when everybody was trying to turn on Kaz and sort of say Kaz is pushing herself on Ronnie, Ronnie said no, it was a mutual thing. So I'll give her credit for that. And then you have Harriet pull Ron for a conversation, because everybody in the villa and their mother know that he's not really feeling her. I don't think it's a matter of him not feeling her. I think it's a matter of him not wanting to be a third wheel in her and Ronnie's relationship, because he knows for a fact that the two of them are going to get back together. So if he even entertains anything with her, it's just for the moment, just to play a part. I wish he had played the part. I really do. I wish he had played the part and just sort of got himself some airtime as much as he could before things were cooled off. Everybody else is just like us, the fans, wanting to watch. They're on the daybeds. They're all within ear range, and they want to hear exactly what's being said, because Harriet was sitting on the daybeds with Ron. So they have this back and forth, and Harriet really gives him a piece of her mind. She tells him that she's very disappointed that he didn't give her an opportunity to get to know him. And the fact that he went and told Ronnie, her ex, she didn't expect that, because she didn't want Ronnie as her ex to be the first person to know about what was going on. I think she was enjoying the idea that Ronnie would be jealous, because he would be seeing her with other guys, flirting and stuff. So it's really sad. It really is sad. But then I don't think they really liked each other romantically. I think Harriet was sort of humoring Ron, because even when they went to bed the night before, she slept in one end of the bed and he slept in the other end. So hey, it is what it is. So you have Harriet pull Grace for a chat just to update her on her conversation with Ron. And Grace is really cheering Harriet on for the growth, because she seems to have grown quite a lot this season. She's not crying as much as she did during her season, and she's not storming off. She's actually making herself be heard, which was good. So while they're talking, Ronnie suddenly appears, and it's like Ronnie knows that he has to make a move before somebody else walks in through the door, so he might as well cement himself in Harriet's life. And so he's having a conversation. They're talking about his glasses, and then he's sort of just flirting with her, and it's like, Ronnie, leave this poor thing alone. If you're serious, fine. If you're not, leave her alone. You have Tina go for a conversation with Elma, and Elma is crying, and it's like, Elma, why are you crying? You're the one who called it quits. Ronnie didn't call it quits. You called it quits because you didn't want to be a third wheel. So please put on your big girl panties and keep it stepping. This is what Ron meant by you're over exaggerating things, or he's been lying to me for 2 weeks. Yes, you should have seen through, read through the lines and seen that this man might not be as serious as he made out to be. The moment he slept outside because the two of you had a disagreement is the moment you should have realized that maybe he was not it. But you decided to sort of do the ostrich and hide your head in the sand, and here we are. Grace then receives a text message to say, Islanders, get ready to roll the dice. It's Vegas night. Girls, you can get poker face ready with your very own glam squad. Hashtag what happens in Vegas. Hashtag Boots Beauty Specialist. And it was like, wow, that's amazing. So they have a glam team come in and they only sent in 2 people. And it's like, how can they send in 2 people when they have that many girls? Anyway, half a loaf is better than nothing because some of the girls are not good at doing their own makeup. So that was sweet. So you have the girls sort of having their makeup done and the guys in the bedroom, and Scott reveals that, he feels like there's something missing. And it's like, why is it you keep shouting to everybody else, well, to the boys per se, that there's something missing, but you won't go and tell the girl you're in a couple with? Make that make sense? Your first conversation should be with the girl you're in a couple with. You should be telling her that, Tina, I really like you, but somehow I feel like there's something missing between the 2 of us. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like there's something missing between the 2 of us. The guys were asking him, what do you mean there's something missing? He can't say it. And then the guys get ready, the girls get ready, they pick up their drinks, they come out, they dance for a bit before the guys sort of go to the fire pit. And at the fire pit, he starts going on about, oh, I feel like there's something missing. And the guys are like, what do you mean there's something missing? You've just been hugging, because he had just been hugging and kissing Tina. So they're like, how do you say there's something missing and still you keep making out with the person? Which is it? Is there something missing, or is it just because you have moved on? Tell us the truth. I think, this is what I think. I think he likes Tina, but I don't think he likes her as much as he likes maybe I think he's eyeing Grace. That's the impression that I get. I think he's eyeing Grace, and so he's trying to make a move and not seem so awkward or not seem very calculated when he makes his move, because otherwise there's no justifiable reason as to why he suddenly started saying that there's nothing there, and yet he's still making out with the girl that is saying there's nothing there. Which is it? Is there nothing, or is there something and you just want someone who'll give you more airtime? I feel like he's found out that Tina is more sort of reserved and more laid back, and he wants someone who's going to have him as much airtime as possible. And he's seen that people like Harriet and Grace are likely to get him that. And this is why he's trying to make moves and move on to his next sort of conquest. Well, obviously the theme is Vegas, and they're going to be playing, I don't even know, I have never been a betting person. Is that the roulette table where the thing is spinning? Somebody help me, please. Anyway, so you get to spin, and it's either a truth or a dare. And so whoever spins, they then truth or dare someone to do whatever they say. And the first one is Ronnie. Ekin-su challenges him to kiss Harriet, and it's like, this is not a challenge, this is what he wanted. And everybody, including Elma, was saying that this is what he wanted, so this is not a challenge for him. Naz was asked, who do you fancy the most? And he said Elma, and it's like, well, then Catherine wasn't his type, or maybe they just didn't align on whatever they wanted. There wasn't the initial spark. Luca asked Elma, do you think Ronnie was wasting your time? Elma says, yes, he played me. Ronnie said, no. He said, I've always been truthful and I've always told you the truth, so I don't get where this comment is coming from. And Elma is going to play victim until Kingdom Come. She was already upset with the kiss. Montel is asked to kiss the cheek of the person playing a game. He kisses Grace because he said he's been told Grace is a type, and he's surprised that, she's going with someone who's not his type, who's not her type. And so this, I think, was what initially lit the fire underneath Luca, because he's already been told that Grace likes someone with spice, but hey, it is what it is. Ekin-su asks Tina, if Luca wasn't here, who would you fancy? And she says Luca. And yeah, they did have a great date. So I get where Tina's coming from. Casey dares Curtis to kiss the girls the way Ekin-su kissed the guys, including the caressing of the stomach and stuff. And Curtis says no, he's not going to do that, but he's happy to kiss someone. So he goes and he kisses Grace. And that's number 2 for Luca. He's already burning hot by this point. There's one that I wrote, Ekin-su kissed the nosiest person, and she kissed Grace. Was I right? I don't know. I think I didn't write that down. Anyway, Luca dares Scott kiss the girl you fancy more than your partner, and he kisses Grace. And this was the third thing that set Luca off. So he was already burning out at this point and was looking for an excuse. Kaz dares Ronnie to tell Harriet what she told her and Montel. And Ronnie's like, well, I really am interested in pursuing this. And you have, Kaz saying, no, tell her exactly what you told me. And Ronnie's like, no, this is not the place or the time. But I think because he was constantly being pushed, everybody else didn't know and they wanted to know. Then he said, I told Kaz, that I loved Harriet. I'm in love with Harriet. And everybody there just dropped. And Elba was like, someone had slapped her in the face, and it's like, well, it is what it is. Casey did run to kiss the bitchiest person in the villa, and he kissed Ekin-su. Is he wrong? No. But you had people like Nas saying, oh no, this is really bad. Why do we keep picking on Ron? Because Casey had already kissed him as the nosiest person or something. And so this is why Naz was not happy with this. Then Scott, he was dared to say something, and he said, I'm not going to say anything to Grace out of respect for Luca. And Luca was daring him, say it. Why are you saying you're not going to say it? And Scott was like, no, I don't want to say anything that's disrespectful. And Luca, this was the last thing. This was the thing that set the fire off, because Luca, you could see, was at this point fuming. He was furious. And it's like, if someone is being respectful, allow them to be respectful and leave it at that. Curtis, if Luca wasn't here, who would you go for? Grace said she would go for Casey. And it's like, why are we piling on poor Luca? Because he's already upset that Grace has been kissed twice, because he actually said she's having an amazing night, isn't she? And then Luca was dared by Ekin-su. I dare you to kiss someone in here for fame. And he went and he kissed Scott. And Scott was furious, because Scott was already furious from the initial interaction when he refused to say anything about Grace. And at this point, he was boiling. You could see the way he was looking at Luca. I think if they meet in the real world, it's not going to go down well. Because then Luca was asked, why do you say that? He said, well, Scott is saying that there's something missing in their connection. And so if there's something missing, what's the point? And besides, he got to know a lot of people before he came into the villa, as soon as he found out he was coming into the villa. And it's like, maybe because he knew that there wouldn't be people from season 2. And so maybe he was trying to make sure that he's comfortable. Everybody is there for fame. Let's be for real. If you were not all being paid, if you were not going to get clout afterwards, all of you would have stayed at home. But because you knew there were benefits to each and every one of you, this is why you did it. Poor Tina stormed off crying, which was really sad, and the girls were trying to console her. And Gabby was just shocked, and she wasn't saying anything. And it's like, does Gabby know more about this conversation that she's letting on? If these people are Tina's friends, why didn't they tell Tina? I think Tina sadly came in, saw Scott, and because of the feelings she had for him from the previous season, she kept on with Scott and didn't bother pursuing anything with anybody else. Or maybe she just didn't want the beef from the other girls, and now she's in this place whereby she's in a couple with someone who is not feeling her, who's ready to jump ship, and she has no ship to jump to. So it's either she waits for a bombshell or she's going to be dumped, and my man is she's going to be dumped, sadly. I think Scott is about to stay in the villa just because of his fight with Luca. The producers are going to keep him for drama, and they're going to send somebody home. My money's on Nas. There is a public vote, so can't wait to see who's being dumped. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 11. Bye guys.